Today is the day that I start writing a new book, and I've been looking forward to writing this book for a very long time. If you're new here, my name is Stephanie, and I am about to start writing my second book. I have another book that I finished the fourth draft. I'm letting it sit for a while, and I started working on my second book. And I have been world building and brainstorming and plotting, and I've finished filling out a plot grid. Also, I could get ready to start writing my second book. I've been doing all of that work over the last month and a half, and now I'm done and it's time to write. I cannot wait to start writing this first draft of my second book because it has been a really long time since I've written a first draft. It's been 1.5 years since I wrote the first draft of Project Lily, and since then all I've been doing is revision after revision after revision. And now I get to sit down and write a first draft. And first drafts for me are so exciting because it's new, there's so much positivity around it. And going into a first draft, I just feel so optimistic because I'm not thinking about everything that needs fixing. I'm just thinking about writing my story and telling it and all of the exciting things I have planned, because the first draft is really about telling the story and all the other drafts are about fixing the story. And I'm really excited about telling this story because I came up with this idea a while back, like a year, I think. And ever since then, it's just been hanging out in my head, and I finally get to explore it. And now I'm spending a lot of time truly working on it. And I just can't wait to tell this story. And I know some of you might be curious as to why I'm not working on Project Lily next, because my original plan going into working on my second book was to let Project Lily sit, work on my second book, get it ready to write, as in finish the plot grid and everything, and then let that be and go back to Project Lily. I've decided not to do that. The reason I don't want to do that is because I've spent the last month and a half working very, very hard on this book. I've come up with tons of ideas, tons of scenes, and so much stuff has been floating around my head and is put down on paper. And right now, it's always so fresh in my mind. My fear is that if I go work on Project Lily at this moment, I will forget a lot of the things that are in my head. And then also, even though a lot of this stuff is put on the plot grid and on paper or Excel in this case, I still don't think I would be able to connect the dots as easily 5 or 6 months from now as I would right now. So that's why I've made the decision to go ahead and start writing, because I think it would just be a lot easier to continue on with this story. So the plan tonight is to just write, to start my first draft, to start the first chapter, to write those first words. And I'm looking forward to it very much. I have cleared my schedule tonight. I also plan on staying up late tonight, which I don't normally do because of work and stuff, but it is the weekend, so I can stay up late if I wanted to. And I know that I'm going to be so excited writing this that I'm going to want more than the general 1 or 2 hours I get at night. I'm going to want to stay up and write because I'm just not going to want to stop. So I'm just going to sit down and have a wonderful night of writing to myself, and I'll stop writing whenever I want. This is going to be a lot of fun tonight. I've been looking forward to this for a while, and it'll be nice to kind of do something different other than revisions. It's going to be a really great night, and I'm really looking forward to it. I started out the evening by getting my environment ready. I love having a nice cozy atmosphere while I write, so I lit my candles. I turned on some YouTube ambiance, and I also started playing my new booktube playlist that I made on Spotify. And all of this allowed me to get in the zone while I wrote, and I spent a few hours writing happily because it was so exciting to type those first words of my novel. It's a funny story. I actually got the idea for the first scene a few months ago, and I've been sitting on it this whole time, and now I finally was able to write it. And so it was really nice to explore that and write it and envision that scene again in my head. I did take a cookie break because I am starting the first draft of a new novel, and I have to celebrate that with cookies at the very least. So I made my cookies and I paired it with a glass of hot chocolate, another favorite while I write. And then I settled in for a few more hours of writing, and I will tell you that my fingers are not used to typing this much, and it's surprising because I've only taken like a month and a half off of writing, and further into the evening, my fingers were tingling, they were tired, they didn't really feel like writing anymore, but I pushed through because I knew that I'll just have to retrain my fingers to type again and they'll get used to it eventually. But besides that, I had a really lovely evening in and really enjoyed writing the first scene of my book. Writing the first draft is a little bit harder than I thought it would be, which is quite the surprise. I wrote about 1,100 words last night, which is fine, but considering I usually write on a first draft or second draft 1,000 words an hour, and I spent about 2 to 3 hours writing last night, that wasn't the most productive. But I figured out really quickly that I wasn't being as productive, and I know why. Because I cannot turn off my revision brain. I've been revising Project Lily for the last year, and my mind has constantly been in, does this make sense here? Does this grammar work? Do I like the wording that I used to describe this? And these thoughts have been over and over and over for a year. And I found that as I was writing the first draft, I just kept having these same thoughts of, I don't like that word I used, and oops, I made a grammar error over here, and I don't like the order I put this in, let me change it. And I was fighting my urge to revise the whole time. I ended up doing a little bit of on-the-spot revision just because I couldn't help myself, but it's just been a struggle to balance revising and writing my book and trying not to revise too much. I think it'll get better over time. I'll just get more in the zone of writing my story. Like, it's still very new to me, this story and the process of sitting down and writing from scratch. It's new in the sense that I haven't done it in a long time. I'm pretty sure that my muscle memory will kick in at some point and I'll just be able to spit out more of the story and not worry so much about revisions. With that being said, it's time to get back into writing today. I'm still working on the first chapter. I don't know when I'm going to finish the first chapter, and I'm pretty sure at this point, this vlog is going to be just me finishing the first chapter because I barely got through like a snippet of a scene yesterday. Like, I'm not even sure it's a full page. I've got a lot of work to do in this chapter. I also have a lot of work to do today. I need to finish editing a YouTube video. I also have some other things I need to do, and I'm wondering how I'm going to fit it all into today. So we'll see. But I'm hoping, I don't think I'll finish chapter 1 today, but I will try my hardest to get through at least most of this first scene in chapter 1. I think I can do it. We'll see. It depends how much I end up writing for it. This is a lot of unknown and it's hard to predict, especially because I haven't really worked on this story before. But anyway, I'm excited to get back into it. I didn't want to stop writing last night, but I just got tired. So I'm looking forward to picking it up today and getting back into the scene, and hopefully I'll make a lot of progress. Well, I'm still trying to finish chapter 1. It's nowhere near complete. Last night, let me look at my word counts. Last night or yesterday in total, I wrote 908 words. That really wasn't that bad because if I remember correctly, I did pretty much all of my writing at night. I think I may have done a little bit during the day. And then I ended up writing this morning as well. And this morning I got about 420 words. And that has led me to a grand total this weekend of 2,300 words. I'm not done with this chapter, like I said, but I am done with the first scene in the chapter. And I'm toying with the idea of breaking this into 2 chapters, but I want to write the next scene and see if that needs to be a new chapter or not. One of my big struggles is still the revision thing. It is getting better. I'm not trying to revise as much. It's just going to take some time to acclimate to this kind of new writing style that I haven't done in a year. And my other big struggle is honestly just trying to find time to write. I went into this weekend so optimistic about getting huge word counts because I knew how excited I would be about starting this book. And I'm still very excited about it, but I just haven't had a lot of time to write. I've been super busy. I've had a lot of things going on, and it's just kind of disappointing because I really wanted to spend a lot of time doing it, and life's gotten in the way, and I haven't been able to really write a lot. And it's one chapter, and I've been working on one chapter for 3 days, and it's essentially only halfway done. And as I head into my work week, I just really have no clue how long it will take me to do this and how much I will write in a day, because when I was writing Project Lily, I had only had this job for a week before I finished the 4th draft of Project Lily. So I did not really have a great, I don't know the word, but a great reference to look back on and be like, oh yeah, on my work days, I can write X amount of words. I don't have that because I started this job 2 months ago. So I'm kind of going into this week kind of blind as far as I'm not really sure how much I'm going to write. I'm not going to sure how much time I have to write. And I'm not sure what my energy level will be when I try to write. I will try to write a little bit in the morning and probably again in the evening, but I haven't decided, and then I'm also just not sure about how much time I will do in each writing session. I am going to continue on with this blog because I wanted to capture me finishing the first chapter of my book, and I'll just check back in with you when I finish the chapter, because from this point forward, I'm only going to be working on this in 20 to 30 minute sprints at random times throughout the week. So I'm not going to have a lot to say. I'm not going to be recording myself every single writing session because that's just too much. So you'll see a few snippets. Maybe I'll have some commentary about other things I'm doing. I have no clue. And I will talk to you again when the first chapter of my book is done. I went through the entire work week and I worked on my chapter a little bit here and there, but I didn't make too much progress. So my first full day off of work, I decided that this was going to be the day that I finished my chapter. For a little extra motivation, I went to a local bakery and got a nice latte and a chocolate croissant, some of my favorite things to get from bakeries. And I knew that would give me just enough energy to get this chapter done. I don't often get coffee and pastries from bakeries just because I'm usually eating breakfast early in the morning or I just have other things I need to do. But I wanted to celebrate finishing my first chapter because I knew it would happen this morning. So this was just a nice little treat for me to reward myself for all of the hard work that I've put into this chapter over the week. As I was eating my breakfast and drinking my coffee, I worked really, really hard to get this chapter done, and I managed to get it done in one sitting. A lot of times I can get distracted by my phone or other things that are going on or that need to be done around the house, but I was completely focused on this chapter. I definitely was a little rusty with writing, even though it's only been about a month or a month and a half since I've been writing. I often found myself through the week having difficulty focusing or getting in that flow state of writing. And I think today was that first day where I was just really in the zone and things were working out and I got kind of back on track with how I usually write. I have missed writing a lot, so it was really nice to wake up in the morning and just get into writing. I've also just been really enjoying writing a new book. I've been writing the same book for over a year and a half, and this is something completely different, so it's definitely stretching my writing ability and exercising my creative brain, which has been a lot of fun. It will probably take me months to finish this book, so I have a lot of writing ahead of me, but as long as I have really nice writing days like this, I think everything will work out very well. Chapter 1 is done. Finally, it's been about a week of working on this chapter, and I actually did end up, once I finished, splitting it into 2 chapters, just because it was so incredibly long. My first chapter was over 5,000 words, and I divided it up, and now they're kind of equal at around 2,500 words each. I think it just helps a lot with the readability of it. But other than that, I'm really glad that my chapter is done. I'm really excited about this book. I'm having such a great time writing it, and I'm really looking forward to getting further into this book as time goes on. It was really nice also to get back into writing since it's been quite a bit of time since I've sat down to write. It's given me something fun to look forward to every day, and I enjoy either my morning or my evenings or both writing. I try to do a little bit of both. I do need to do a better job in the future of dedicating writing time because over the past week, as I've been writing in the mornings, I felt like it hasn't been enough time. I usually only have about 15 or 20 minutes. And I usually hit this point right before I need to stop where I start getting in this flow state. And then I look at the time and I'm like, oh, I gotta stop. And it's extremely frustrating. And the same thing happens in the evening, except in the evening when I write, I have a little more time, like a half hour, 45 minutes. So I'm able to make a little bit more progress in the evenings, but I don't really have that many evenings to write. I still have a lot of work to do in figuring out my new workday writing routine. I've only been writing for a week, and it's not necessarily enough time. I've learned a lot about what's working and what's not, but I still haven't come up with a solid plan yet. I will probably be doing that over the next week or two, just because I need to kind of become more consistent. Like this week, I was all over the place, writing on random mornings, random evenings, some days not at all. And I just need to get a little schedule going so I can get my mind more into writing when I sit down to write. But with all that being said, at least I can end this vlog confident that I have the first 2 chapters of my book done. That's amazing. I'm very excited about it, and I cannot wait to keep working on my book.